Red Ryder, Uncle Eric here. Just wanted to do a quick video for you. You know, I thought about it and I said we were going to be doing so many different modifications to your rifle, and I was going to be helping you fix it if something goes bad. And I figured the easiest way to do that would be for me to have one just like yours, so that as I did things and took things apart, you could do the exact same thing. Just make it easier to mirror it. So I went ahead and grabbed one, and I figured the first thing I could do with it is an unboxing. They did a phenomenal job with this box. There's a lot of things on here that I want you to see. We're going to talk about the history that they put on the box and in the box, the important info that is on the box and in the paperwork, and even some of the secrets that they stuck in here that have helped me as an adult and even throughout my life. Just little life lessons. So, all right, well, let's jump right into it, bud. And here we go. This should look very familiar to you. Just our boy, good old-fashioned red. First thing I want to point out is this word right here, a carbine. What makes a carbine a carbine? A carbine is a special kind of rifle. It's a rifle specifically designed for cavalry or people on horseback. They found that cavalry needed a lighter weight rifle because, riding on a horse, there's a lot of bounce and things like that. Plus, you need to be able to store it on the horse somewhere. So they found that having a lighter weight, smaller rifle was more advantageous than having a longer, heavier rifle like the infantry had. So that's what carbine means. So anytime you hear someone talk about a carbine rifle, it just means it's a shorter, lighter weight version of another rifle, or it is just a rifle designed to be shorter or lighter weight. Other thing I want to point out on here is where it talks about your 650 shots. That's really cool. Most guns don't have nearly that kind of capacity. You're not going to want to put all 650 BBs in there at a time because it kind of clogs it up. And we'll get into the ins and outs of that another time. But you only want to put in about 500 at a time. And really 500 shots is all you really need. All right, let's flip this bad boy over. Look at the back real quick. On the back here, we got old red again. This says take aim at safety, which is very important. Let's read this real quick. It says, read your operator's manual before using this air gun. Always keep gun pointed in a safe direction. Always keep your finger off the trigger until ready to shoot. Always keep your gun unloaded until ready to use. Always wear eye protection, very important. Always know the target and what is beyond. So the 7 steps that we went over, or you will go over depending on where you're at in the video series, all are based upon these here. So you follow those 7 steps and you'll follow all of these. Yeah, let's keep on working down. Now on the back here, it does something really cool. You really get to see the different parts of your rifle. You're gonna want to memorize this. You'll do it by accident over time, but you are gonna want to memorize this. So back here you've got your stock. This is where your sundial and your compass are located. This is a solid wood stock. Now that's really cool. A lot of BB guns and things like that today are made out of plastic, and plastic is fine, but wood is better. Wood is just better, and we can get into that another time, but wood is better. So this one I'm really happy, and this is one of the reasons why I sent you this particular model, because there's actually a couple different Red Ryders, but the one I sent you, it does have a wooden rear stock and then a wooden forearm with 4-band. So that's the forearm and the 4-band. So the forearm and the stock are both made out of wood. This is a cross bolt trigger block safety. That's important. What that means is that anytime you cut the safety on or push that button in from this side of the rifle specifically, it will block the trigger. So it stops the trigger from being able to be pulled. Yeah, so that just kind of tells you how that works. You've got a cocking lever right there, and the cocking lever you rotate forward and you bring it back, and that actuates it and gets it ready to fire. You've got a leather thong, and we'll get into the many uses of that. It's a very iconic part of the rifle. Up here, you've got your adjustable rear sight. Now, what makes it adjustable is you can adjust for distance. It can basically make it so you can shoot a little bit farther than it's supposed to by setting this up here. And then on the front, you have a blade and ramp front sight. The blade and the ramp front sight, that's the post is what I call it. So if you ever hear me say putting the post between the fork, that's the post, that's the fork. So we'll get into that when you go into aiming a little bit more too. You have a smooth bore steel barrel, which means that there's no twists in it. We'll talk about the advantages and disadvantages of a smooth bore using BBs versus a shaped projectile like a pellet. In this case, just know that it is better for this gun to have a smooth barrel than it is for it to have a rifle with a twisted barrel. And the last thing I want to look at on the back here is your specifications. Capacity, 650 shots, but again, we're only going to put 500 in there. Maximum velocity is 350 feet per second. Now, they say that it can go that fast, and they measure it from the moment that it leaves the barrel, but I've never seen a Red Ryder go that fast. They usually, at the factory, tune them back to about 270, 275 feet per second. But it maxes out at 350. That's as fast as they're allowed to make it. Doesn't really need to go that fast, especially for the distance that we're shooting at. It says the max shooting distance is 195 yards. I don't know how true that is, but we're gonna see if we can figure it out together. I actually have a video planned for us to try and test that and see how far we can get it to shoot. There's a special sight we're gonna make. I call it a Quigley sight, and what it does is that it sits up here and it kind of sticks up, and it allows you to kind of angle the gun up at a higher angle and shoot, so that when the BB comes out of the barrel, instead of just going straight like that, it'll kind of arc up and drop back down. We'll get into another time, but yeah, we'll see if we can get that full 195 yards out of this guy. Overall length 35.4 inches and weight 2.2 pounds. It's pretty heavy, bud. It's going to be kind of hard on your arms at first. I also have a video that I'm making that'll kind of help you strengthen your arms and get you kind of used to the weight of it. But yeah, all that weight is going to be necessary. You'll like it. The last thing I want to look at is on the edge. This is where the secrets lie. Red Ryder, A Christmas Wish. It's a tradition among us Red Ryders that we got our first Red Ryder for Christmas. The vast majority of us. Those Red Ryders are people who call themselves Red Ryders who didn't get one for Christmas when they were a kid. They wish they did. So, you're among an elite group of Red Ryders that got to get your Red Ryder for Christmas. The next thing I want you to look at is right here, Spirit of Adventure and Symbol of Goodwill. That is a saying or an expression, whatever you want to call it, but I want you to kind of lock that into your heart. That's something that will take you far in life. Having a spirit of adventure, and remember that you are a symbol of goodwill. That'll really, really help you in a lot of ways, and we'll get into that another time. It made me want to make a video for you about what it meant to me to be a Red Ryder, and so I'm excited to kind of share that with you too. And the last thing that we got down here, and this I thought was really, really cool. Cavemen used to draw pictures on the walls because they didn't have words and language and things like that, but they wanted to record and remember or memorialize events in their lives. So they drew pictures on the walls. What you have here is the exact same thing. It's a picture on the wall kind of depiction, but it is a picture on the wall of how life is gonna go for you, for every man walking the face of the planet. You will start off as young and just two shoes. That's all you'll have is just two shoes. And you'll have your first job, and that job will be to take care of cows in this position, in this situation. So as you take care of those cows, that horse that's supposed to be your friend and supposed to help you, he's gonna buck you off. You're gonna lose your hat. It's gonna be humiliating. And it's gonna take some time to win that horse's trust. And you and that horse are gonna go through some really prickly times. And you're gonna have to go really, really fast and do some really wild stuff sometimes just to get through it. And you're even gonna have to pick up that horse's poop sometimes. And all that is gonna make you a Red Ryder. These are the things that make you a Red Ryder. These are the things that make you a Red Ryder and a good man, really. It's knowing that you gotta start at the beginning, accepting that your job is your job. It doesn't matter how glorious or glamorous it is, it's your job. And you gotta do it to the best of your ability. And you gotta remember that sometimes your coworkers aren't gonna be your best friend, and you're gonna have to win them over time. And sometimes going and doing the job means going through the prickly times. Sometimes it means going really, really fast when you're already really, really tired. Sometimes it means, yeah, picking up the poop. But these are the things that make you a Red Ryder. Notice you don't see on here that he shot the bullseye over and over again. You don't see over here where he beat up any bad guys or won any competitions or anything like that. This is just day to day. Gotta get the job done. Get up and get yourself cleaned off. Go figure it out and make friends. And yeah, life's gonna be prickly sometimes. But these are the things that make you a Red Ryder. These are the things that make you a better man. Is learning how to love these things. Learning how to love dusting yourself off because it reminds you that nothing can stop me. Taking pride in your job. Loving the prickly times because you get to tell funny jokes about it that help you win your friends. And figuring out how to go faster and harder than everybody else so that you can inspire the people around you. So when it comes time to pick up the poop, everybody gets to laugh and have fun about it. And then you get to be a better Red Ryder. So there's the biggest secret. It's written right there in pictures on the side of that box. It's how to be a good man, how to be a good Red Ryder. All right, we'll move on. Stop rambling. I get this bad boy open. Put it down. Set that down. And we'll pause because I want to get this out of the plastic. All right, there we go. So here we've got the bag that the rifle came in. This is the bag that the instruction came in. And this is the bag that the, what's called a gnomen, but the little pointy job. But yeah, that's the bag that the gnomen came in. This is some instructions for your parents to have. It just tells them what to do if they have a problem with it. It doesn't really apply too much to us because a lot of the things that the warranty covers we'll be fixing ourselves. Cocking instructions. It's important for you to read over this a couple times. Kind of talks about how, when I mentioned in the 7 steps video, how it's important to get all 7 clicks out of it. Yep, so just talks about how it's important to get all 7 clicks out. And then we've got the instruction manual and of course the gnomen. And this beauty right here. Look at that. Look at that. Gorgeous. The gold band, iconic. So you've got your safety here. This is currently on. That's good. I was also impressed to see that this is made out of metal. Most of the time this part right here is made out of plastic. The only part on here that's plastic that I thought would be advantageous to be metal was just the trigger. So maybe one day we'll get us to the point where we can make a metal trigger to replace that one. That'll be quite a big project, but maybe one day. You have right here on the barrel your serial number. You'll want to write that down somewhere and keep it. That's important because that is the number that only your rifle has. One other thing I want to kind of go over on this bad boy is this duber right here. This is the BB loading port. These new rifles, the BB loading port can be very sticky and it can be hard to get open. A lot of times if you just push straight up, it will not open. So what I found is you kind of have to push down with your finger and you'll hear it kind of groan a little bit. And then if you push, you'll hear it slide open. First time it's going to be all gummed up and sticky, but what we're going to do is we're going to put some oil in there. We'll talk about different types of oils and stuff like that you can use, but I like to use just like a thinner oil. But yeah, just put a drop of oil right there, and then I close it up and I put a drop of oil and just kind of rub it across that part, and then I just kind of open it and close it a couple times, and that'll kind of help. You can hear it. That needs to be oiled. That's how you know. So yeah, you get that oiled and that'll be easier to open, but it's not that big of a deal. The other thing I wanted to point out on here is that guy right there. Right there. You'll see right there is a small hole. That hole is the BB loading ramp. That allows you to see directly down into the rifle's workings to see if there's a BB loaded into the ramp and ready to shoot. We'll talk about where the BBs are stored and how it works another time, but it's basically because of how the BBs are stored inside of your gun. They are essentially stored between about here and here. Yeah, about here and here, between there and there, and that's, let me show you, there and there. Sorry, I'm not very good with this camera yet, but yeah, they're stored between there and there inside of this black tube. But inside of the black tube is another tube that is the barrel. You can kind of see the end of it there. We'll look at the diagram together and go over all that. So yeah, iconic leather thong. And of course, Red Ryder. All right. The gnomen. Yes. Okay. So this guy, let's do it right here. As you know, it goes here. I like to put it rounded side in because I get a sharper point as to where my shadow is. I don't like putting it like that. I feel like it's kind of wobbly. So I like to put it in like that. If you lose this, it's okay. You can make another one. But if you can keep this, that'd be really, really cool. So what I like to do right now is, so I don't lose it, is this tube, this under tube right here is actually hollow. There's nothing in it. And it goes all the way back to here and it stops. I think it's somewhere right around there. So this little plastic catch part right here, you can kind of just pull that out. It's just a little plastic plug. As you can see, it's just a little plastic plug. So you can pull it out and you can see it's kind of got a flat side right there. And that flat side goes underneath the barrel. So the barrel would be kind of like where my finger is, and that under tube would be underneath it. So the barrel would be right there. But that leaves a hole that I like to put, and I like to put the pointy part first because this part right here is soft. I think it may be hard back in there and I don't want to damage that tip. So I just slide that right in there, bloop, and then feel for that flat spot. Put that flat spot, let me get in closer. There you go. And get the flat spot, as you can see right there, and line that flat spot up and just slide it in there and just press until it goes in, just like that. And it's just a friction plug. So if you kind of get a fingernail or um, something like that in there and just kind of pry it off, it'll slide its way out. If it doesn't come out right away, put a fingernail in one side and then the other side and then the opposite side and go back and forth, and that'll kind of work it out. So put it in on this side and pull it a little bit, and then put it on the other side and pull a little bit, and just pulling it a little bit on each side will work it out. Yeah, that's pretty much it. We're gonna go have I'm gonna make a video on how to use the compass and the sundial. Um, I'm really excited about that. It's gonna be a really good video. All right, wild man, I will not keep you any longer. I'm gonna do another video where we're gonna go over the manual. That's gonna be a wild video all by itself. So yeah, so I will be modifying this rifle as I make videos with you. We're going to paint the sights so that make it easier to see. We're going to adjust this strap here. Do all kinds of fun stuff. I talked about making a box, a case out of this box, so keep track of that. These plastic bits we'll also use in making a case and keeping it protected. In the meantime, though, if you're not using it, it's best to actually put this back into this bag and go ahead and store it back inside of the box. It won't hurt anything. Um, if you're worried about the box getting damaged, then you can put the box up somewhere, like in a closet or something, and then just take the rifle and store it in the bag. Just make sure that when you store it, that the mouth of the bag is on the floor and not at the top, because then if it's at the top, all the stuff is just going to come in through the top of the bag. So put the bag on barrel first, slide it all the way down like that, and then just kind of fold it over and then just set it on the ground. Um, if you're going to set it on the ground, always set it butt first. You don't want to set it barrel down first because it'll bend the rifle. But yeah, so there you go, Finn. I'll be changing this one as I show you different things. This is gonna be really cool. I'm so excited, man. All right, sir, you have a great day. If you have any questions or suggestions or ideas, don't hesitate to reach out to me through your dad. I'm only a little bit away. All right, dude, take care of yourself, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care, little man. I misspoke in the video, and I wanted to take a moment to correct it. When you are looking at the rifle on the side that is in the picture, if you press the button on that side, the safety button, it will cut off the safety and it will make the gun ready to fire. The opposite of what I said earlier in the video. So just wanted to correct myself because I always wanted to tell you the truth. And remember, everybody makes mistakes. All right, talk to you soon, bud. Bye-bye.